From "Open the door, human, free me," pleaded the alien girl, trapped for her unique DNA. The planet Tarsize 7 was quiet. Its surface was covered in blue dust and large rocks. There were no cities here, no trees, and no people, just machines and a few humans working deep under the ground. Captain Juno Maris stood on a metal platform, looking out at the open land. She had spent 5 years on this mining station, leading a team of engineers and scientists. Most days were the same, boring, routine and silent, but today was different. "Captain," said Milo, the communications officer, through her earpiece. "We just picked up a strange signal. It's coming from Sector 9, Juno frowned. Sector 9? That's the old research zone. No one goes there anymore? It was shut down before we arrived? I know, but the signal is active, Milo replied. And ... it's not in any known human language. That got her attention. Juno walked into the control room. The lights inside were dim, with screens glowing blue and green. Milo was already at his station, his fingers flying over the keyboard. I ran it through the translation AI, he said. It didn't get everything, but it did get this one sentence. He pressed a button, and a robotic voice repeated the message. Open the door, human, free me. The room went silent. Juno stared at the screen. Is it a joke? No, the signal is old. Decades, maybe more. But it just activated. And it's coming from Underground Facility 9. Juno looked at the map. Facility 9 was a deep, sealed lab from before her time. It was supposed to be abandoned, dangerous even. But now something or someone was inside, calling for help. Juno gathered a small team, just her, Milo, and an engineer named Rhea. They took a crawler vehicle and drove across the dusty plains. The wind was soft, the sky pale gray. Tarsize 7 had no sun, only a bright white star far in the distance. They reached the entrance to Facility 9 by nightfall. The old doors were buried under rock and dirt, but still partly visible. The metal was rusted, but not broken. Rhea set up her tools and scanned the lock. This tech is not like ours, she said. It's more advanced, or maybe just different, but I think I can open it. After a few minutes of careful work, the door slowly creaked open. Cold air rushed out. The hallway inside was dark. With flickering lights and long shadows, they stepped inside. The air smelled old, like metal and chemicals. The walls were smooth and silver, and strange symbols glowed faintly along the sides. No one had walked these halls in years, maybe decades. This doesn't feel like a human facility, Juno said. It isn't, Milo replied. At least not completely. The files say Facility 9 was a joint project, humans and alien scientists working together. As they walked deeper, they found signs of past life, broken chairs, old machines, and sealed doors with unreadable labels. Finally, they reached a large chamber. In the center stood a single stasis pod, a glass tube with glowing blue liquid. Inside, the pod was still powered, and inside was someone, a girl. Her skin shimmered with soft light like tiny stars. Her hair floated in the liquid, and her eyes were closed. She looked peaceful, not in pain, not asleep, but waiting on the glass. Words were scratched in glowing letters. Strange symbols, but next to them a human translation. Open the door. Human, free me. Milo stepped back. This is the source of the signal. She's been calling out. Rhea stared. She's not fully alien, she whispered. Look at her face, her features. There's something human in her. Juno stepped closer. The pod's surface lit up where her hand touched it. Then the girl's eyes opened. They were bright, almost silver, and full of calm. She didn't speak with her mouth, but Juno heard her voice clearly inside her mind. You can hear me. That means you're not like the others. Juno gasped and took a step back. I was locked here, the voice continued. Because of what I am. Please, human, help me. Free me. Juno didn't know what to think. The pod was ancient. The girl inside was clearly not normal, maybe not even alive in the usual sense. But her voice, her words, they were not cold or robotic. They were soft, honest, and scared. Behind her, Milo whispered, Captain, what should we do? Juno didn't answer right away. She was still looking into the eyes of the strange girl. In the pod, she didn't see a weapon or a monster. She saw someone asking for help, and something deep inside her whispered back, "She's not a danger, she's a key." A key to what? Juno didn't know yet, but one thing was certain: this mission had just changed forever. From "Open the door, human, free me," pleaded the alien girl. Trapped for her unique DNA, Captain Juno Maris had seen many strange things in her career, but nothing like this. A glowing girl trapped inside a pod, speaking with her mind, not in anger, not in fear, but with a quiet voice full of sadness. Juno stood in front of the stasis pod. The girl's silver eyes blinked slowly, watching her. It was clear that she was alive and aware. Rhea whispered from behind, "Are we really going to open it?" Juno didn't answer right away. Her fingers moved along the control panel, brushing over glowing symbols. They were not human-made, but something about them felt familiar, almost ... Suddenly, a soft pulse came from the pod, and lights flickered across the walls. The girl spoke again, this time out loud, her voice soft and clear. "My name is Niraya. Please, don't be afraid. I won't hurt you." Milo stepped back. "She speaks English?" The girl nodded slightly inside the pod. "I learned. I have been listening for a very long time." Juno looked at the stasis pod screen. "She's been in there for over 40 years, frozen but conscious." "How is that even possible?" Rhea asked. "I don't know," Juno said. "But we need to find out." They brought a portable power core and connected it to the pod. Slowly, the outer casing began to release steam, and the lights changed from blue to green. The pod didn't open fully, just enough for the girl inside to breathe and speak more clearly. Niraya sat up slowly. Her skin glowed softly in the dark room. Her hair floated around her like silk in water. She looked weak, but peaceful. Juno took a step forward. "You said they locked you here. Who were they?" Niraya looked down, her voice quiet. "Scientists from many worlds. They made me in this place. I was their experiment, but something changed. They became afraid." "Afraid of what?" Milo asked. "My DNA," she said. "I was not born, I was created. I carry genes from different species, including humans." Juno felt a chill. "You're part human?" "Yes," Niraya said. "That is why I could speak to you. That is why I reached out. Humans were the only ones who wanted to protect me. The others wanted to keep me locked away." Milo opened his tablet. "Captain, she's telling the truth. I just pulled old files from the station archives. Facility 9 was used for genetic research. It was a shared lab between humans and several alien species." He paused. There was an argument, a disagreement about one of the test subjects. Then all records stopped. Juno turned to Niraya. "You're that subject?" Niraya nodded. "They feared I was too powerful. I could change living things, heal them, study their DNA, and adjust it. They didn't understand it. They thought I would harm others. But I never wanted to hurt anyone." Juno stared at her. "You can heal?" "Yes, that is my gift. Not a weapon, a cure." For a long moment no one spoke. The quiet hum of the machines filled the room. Then Rhea said softly, "Captain, if this is true, she could change everything. Medicine, science, even life itself. But only if she's free," Juno said. Back at the outpost, other crew members began to ask questions. Rumors spread quickly about a girl in a pod, an ancient lab, and secret experiments. The base AI began scanning deeper files from Facility 9. It found more data. Niraya had been created using a mix of DNA from 6 different species. The human part was the base. That meant humanity had a direct connection to her existence. Suddenly, alarms rang through the control room. Milo looked at the radar screen. "Unidentified ships approaching from orbit. They're not human." Juno narrowed her eyes. "They must have picked up the signal too." Inside the lab, Niraya looked up sharply. "They've come for me, the ones who locked me here." "Why?" "Now?" Rhea asked. "Because I woke up," Niraya said. "They thought I would sleep forever, but I reached a human. And that changed everything." Juno placed a hand on the pod. We won't let them take you, but we need to move fast. She turned to her team. Get the crawler ready, we're bringing her back to the base. And get defense systems online, just in case. As they prepared to leave the ancient lab, Niraya stood beside Juno for the first time. She looked around, taking slow steps. Her eyes were wide with wonder and fear. Is it safe? She asked. No, Juno said honestly. But you're not alone now. Niraya looked up at her and smiled gently. Thank you, human. Juno gave her a small nod. From open the door, human, free me. Pleaded the alien girl, trapped for her unique DNA. Captain Juno Maris stood on the command deck of the outpost, her eyes fixed on the radar screen. The blinking dots showed 3 unknown ships now in orbit around Tarsi 7. They had arrived silently. Without warning, they're not human ships, Milo said quietly. Their signal codes match the Serati. Confederation. Juno crossed her arms. I've heard of them. Advanced, powerful, and very strict about alien research. Do you think they're here for Niraya? Rhea asked. I don't think, Juno replied. I know. In the medical bay, Niraya sat on a soft bench, wrapped in a light blanket. Her glowing skin had dimmed and her hands trembled slightly. She had not eaten or walked freely in decades. Everything around her was new, yet she remained calm. When Juno entered the room, Niraya looked up with quiet eyes. They've come, haven't they? Yes, Juno said. Do you know why they fear you so much? Niraya nodded. They believe I am a danger to balance. I carry DNA from many species. I can change life, heal it, even improve it. But they didn't want that power to exist. They feared it would make others jealous or start conflict. Juno pulled up a holographic file from the base archives. She had been reviewing logs from facility. 9 secret reports left behind by the original research teams. You were part of something called Project Unity, Juno said. It was supposed to be a peaceful science mission, a shared effort to create a life form that could help all species. Niraya gave a small, sad smile. Yes, but peace is hard to hold. When they saw I could learn quickly, speak many languages, and even connect with minds, they stopped calling me a success. They began calling me a risk. Milo ran into the room holding a tablet. Captain! The Serati sent a message. They want to speak directly. Juno nodded. Put it through. A screen lit up. The face of a tall, thin Serati leader appeared. His skin was pale blue and his eyes dark and serious. Captain Juno Maris, you have found something that does not belong to you. Juno stood tall. She is alive. She was abandoned. We don't leave people behind. She is not a person. She is a product of illegal science. The Confederation demands her return. Immediately. Niraya's voice was calm. They do not fear me. They fear what I represent. Juno stepped forward. She's not a threat. She's part human. That gives us a right to protect her. Then you are making a mistake, the Serati said. Coldly, one that may affect your whole race. The screen went dark. Back in the command room, Juno met with her team. The situation was growing more serious. They won't wait long, Milo said. They'll either land or try to take her by force. Juno looked at the old files again. One entry caught her eye, something strange buried in the deepest layer of the database. Rhea, she said. Look at this. A hidden vault under facility. 9, locked and sealed for decades, could hold more information. Or even proof that Niraya wasn't dangerous. Rhea's eyes widened. Coordinates are still active. We can go there, Juno nodded. Then we go, now. Juno, Niraya, and Rhea returned to Facility 9 using the crawler vehicle. The journey was quiet. Niraya looked out the window, watching the pale sky. Are you afraid? Juno asked. And Niraya thought for a moment. Yes, but not of the Serati. I'm afraid you will change your mind about me. I won't, Juno said. You're not a problem, you're a person. Niraya smiled, a little stronger this time. The hidden vault door was deep below the old lab, protected by layers of forgotten technology. Rhea worked carefully, unlocking each layer until the final seal opened with a soft hiss. Inside the vault were old machines, glowing orbs, and one large data terminal. Juno walked to it and wiped off the dust. "I hope this tells us the truth," she said. The screen lit up. A message played automatically. "This is Dr. Ellen Tyros, head of Project Unity. If you're seeing this, then Nerea still lives. She is not our failure. She is our greatest hope. She was created not to rule, but to connect, to unite species in peace." Another recording played videos of Nerea healing injured animals, speaking peacefully with alien scientists, and learning new languages in hours. "She was never dangerous," Rhea whispered. "They lied to the galaxy." Suddenly, alarms from the outpost sounded in Juno's earpiece. "Captain," Milo said urgently, "the Serati ships have started to descend. They're not waiting anymore." Juno looked at Nerea. The girl stood, tall now, glowing more brightly. She had heard the recordings. She knew who she was. "Let's go," Juno said. "It's time they hear the truth too." The Serati ships entered the sky over Tarsi 7 like silent shadows. 3 long silver crafts floated above the rocky surface, their lights blinking coldly. Inside the human outpost, the team prepared for what could be their first contact or a confrontation. Captain Juno Maris stood on the landing platform. Her face was calm, but her thoughts were full of questions. She had the truth now. Nerea wasn't a threat. She was a symbol of unity, a living key to peace. But would the Serati listen? Behind her, Nerea stepped into the light. She wore a simple white suit borrowed from the medical bay, and though her body was still weak, her silver eyes glowed with calm strength. "They're afraid of change," she said softly. "That's why they want to take me back, to hide me." Juno nodded. "Then we'll show them that truth is nothing to fear." The Serati ship landed with a soft thud. A long ramp opened, and a group of tall figures stepped out. Their leader, the one from the message, stood in front. His name was Ambassador Kale Draven, and his voice was sharp and smooth. "You were warned," he said to Juno. "You have no right to protect a subject of illegal research." "She's not a subject," Juno replied. "She's a living being, a person and part human." "She's a biological mix, a genetic accident?" "No," Nerea said, stepping forward. "I am a creation of hope, not a mistake." The Serati ambassador blinked. It was the first time she had spoken to him directly. Her voice was clear and calm. "I was made by many species," she said. "Including your own? I carry all your strengths? I was created to heal, to bring unity, but you chose fear over faith." Kale's eyes narrowed. "You speak well, but words are not proof." Juno handed him a small data device. "This is from the vault beneath Facility 9. It contains the original files, videos, messages, and research logs. They show the real story. Project Unity was not a weapon. It was a dream." Kale took the device but did not play it yet. Inside the outpost, Milo watched from the security room. Rhea stood beside him, fingers crossed. "She's doing well," Rhea whispered. "She's brave," Milo nodded. "She's more than that. She's what the galaxy has been missing." Outside, Kale finally looked at Nerea again. "Even if the files are true, your powers are still dangerous. If others learn about you, they may try to copy what was done." "Make more like you? Maybe they should," Nerea said. "Not to control, but to heal, to understand." A low hum filled the air as her hands began to glow softly. She walked to a nearby rock where a small flower had withered in the dry soil. She knelt down, touched the earth, and within seconds the plant stood tall again, its petals open and bright. Even Kale stepped forward in surprise. "I don't destroy," Nerea said. "I restore." The wind on Tarsi 7 was silent again. The tension in the air was thick. Juno could feel her team watching, holding their breath. Then Kale looked down at the device in his hand, then back at Nerea. "I will not decide alone," he said. "We will hold a council with other species. A vote must be made, but until then, you may keep her in your care." Juno raised an eyebrow. "You're leaving her with us?" "For now," he said. "But the council must agree. If they decide she is a threat, she must return to us." Juno nodded slowly. "It wasn't full freedom, but it was a start. Kale turned and walked back toward his ship. The other Sarati followed. As the ship rose into the sky again, Niraya watched quietly. That evening the outpost was calmer. The sky turned pale blue as the white star dimmed behind the clouds. Juno sat beside Niraya near the observation window. Outside, the stars slowly appeared one by one. They didn't take you, Juno said. That's a win, Niraya smiled. For now, but more will come. Not just to watch, some may want to use me. Then we'll be ready, Juno said. Together? There was a short silence. Then Niraya asked, Do you think the council will vote for peace? Juno thought for a moment. Some will, others may be unsure. But you've already changed how people see you. That's the first step. Niraya leaned her head against the cold glass. When I was alone in the pod, I dreamed of a voice. A human voice. I hope someone would come someday and see me as more than a project. Juno smiled gently. Then I'm glad I heard your call. Far in space, across the stars, the council began to gather. Species from all over the galaxy, some with scales, others with feathers, some silent, some loud. They came with one question in mind. Could the girl with many genes become the bridge between all life? And while they debated, on Tarsi's 7, Niraya stood under the stars, free for the first time, and ready to prove that she was not a threat, but a promise. A week had passed since the Sarati left Tarsi's 7. Their ships disappeared into deep space, but the silence they left behind was not peaceful. Captain Juno Maris could feel it in the air. The galaxy was watching now. Every day, messages came from far-off planets. Some leaders were curious, others were afraid. The name Niraya had begun to spread across systems like a whisper on the wind. Inside the outpost, Niraya spent most of her time in the science wing. She read books at a fast speed, studied human medicine, and spoke softly to the plants in the greenhouse. Where she touched, life grew stronger, but even with the calm around her, Juno knew a storm was coming. One morning, the outpost received a special message. Rhea ran into the command room with wide eyes. Captain, the Galactic Council just sent a communication. They want to test Niraya. Juno frowned. Test her? Milo nodded from his screen. They're sending a representative, a neutral observer. Someone to study Niraya's powers and decide if she's safe. And if they decide she's not? Juno asked. No one answered. The next day, a new ship landed quietly on the outpost pad. It was small, silver, and shaped like a starfish. From inside stepped a strange-looking being tall, with smooth green skin and glowing blue eyes. It wore no armor, only a white robe. I am Ellerin of the Wayfinder Order, the being said. I come not to judge, but to understand. Niraya met Ellerin with calm eyes. She gave a small bow. You're welcome here. Ellerin looked at her closely. You do not fear me? I have lived most of my life in fear, Niraya said softly. I choose not to feel it now. Ellerin nodded. Then let us begin. The tests were not cruel. Ellerin asked Niraya to show her gifts slowly. They walked through the greenhouse where she helped small plants bloom. They visited the medical wing where Niraya healed the soldiers. Old wound by placing her hand over it and humming softly. What do you feel when you heal? Ellerin asked. I feel life, she said, like a song waiting to be played. I just help the notes find their place. Later, Ellerin asked Niraya questions about her mind, her emotions, and her memories. Do you ever feel angry at those who locked you away? He asked. Niraya paused. I used to. But now I feel something else. I want to make things better, not worse. That's what they feared most, that I wouldn't choose revenge, but peace. Ellerin's eyes glowed brighter. One evening, Ellerin asked Juno to walk with him outside the base. The sky was clear, and stars filled the dark blue above. She is remarkable, Ellerin said, but the council is divided. Some fear she is too powerful. Others believe she is the future. Juno watched the stars. Power isn't the danger, fear is. She didn't choose to be made this way, but she's choosing what to do with it. That should matter more than anything, Ellerin nodded slowly. You may be right. The next day, a situation arrived that No one expected an exploration crew from a nearby mining colony sent a distress signal. One of their ships had crashed in a storm. 2 people were badly hurt, and the rescue ship was still hours away. Naraya heard the call before anyone else. She looked up and said, "We must go, now." Juno didn't question her. They gathered a small team and flew out in a shuttle. When they arrived, the crash site was worse than expected. The small mining ship was half buried under a rocky hill. Smoke rose into the air, and a faint light blinked from inside. Juno ran in with Rhea and Naraya. 2 injured miners were trapped under broken metal. One barely breathing, Naraya knelt beside him, placed her hands gently on his chest, and closed her eyes. A soft glow spread from her fingertips. The man coughed, gasped, and slowly opened his eyes. "He's breathing," Rhea shouted. "She saved him!" The second miner had a broken leg and deep cuts. Naraya moved to him next. She worked with quiet strength, humming softly, her face full of care. When they finished, both miners were stable. Ellerin stood nearby, watching everything. Not with fear, but with wonder. Back at the outpost, Ellerin gave his final report. "I have seen her power," he said to Juno, "and I have seen her heart. The galaxy must not hide this light. It must learn to walk beside it." Juno let out a breath she didn't know she was holding. "So, what will you tell the council?" Ellerin looked at Naraya, then smiled. "I will tell them the truth. That Naraya is not a weapon, she is a bridge." Far away, as Ellerin's ship disappeared into the stars, Naraya stood at the window, her heart light. For the first time in her life, she felt more than hope. She felt belonging, but the path ahead was still uncertain. Others would come. Not all with open hearts, and Naraya knew her journey had only just begun. Days passed peacefully after Ellerin's visit. The message he sent to the Galactic Council had already reached many systems. Some praised Naraya as a miracle, others still feared her unknown powers. But for now, the outpost on Tarsai 7 felt calm. Naraya began walking outside more often, feeling the wind on her face and watching the stars. She smiled more, spoke freely, and even laughed a little with Rhea and Milo. Life was becoming something she had never known before normal. But Captain Juno Maris never let her guard down. She knew peace in their world never lasted long. One morning, the base picked up a signal from deep space. "Unknown ship approaching," Milo reported. "No ID code, no official registration." Juno's eyes narrowed. "Pirates?" Rhea shook her head. "Maybe worse. Could be bounty hunters, the kind that don't care about laws." Naraya stood silently beside them. Her face changed, her smile fading. "They've come for me," she said softly. The ship landed just outside the outpost. It was dark, spiked, and battle-scarred. 3 armored figures stepped out. They wore black suits with red visors. Their leader removed his helmet and spoke with a cold voice. "We are the Drax Syndicate. We know who you are hiding. The council is slow." "But we are not. We are here to collect Naraya." Juno stepped forward. "You have no right to be here. She's under protection." The leader smiled. "Protection? From whom?" "The galaxy wants her. There are governments offering rewards so large they could buy a planet." "You're not taking her," Juno said firmly. The man's smile faded. "Then we take her by force." Inside the outpost, Milo activated the defense shields. Rhea helped Naraya back into the control room. "You should hide," Rhea said. "They're dangerous." "No," Naraya said, shaking her head. "If I run again, it will never stop." She walked to the command screen. Her hands hovered over the power system. "I don't want to hurt anyone," she said, "but I will defend what matters." Outside, the Drax Syndicate tried to break through the shield. Their weapons were strong, but the outpost barrier held. For now, Juno led a defense team to block the doors, just in case. Suddenly, a loud sound echoed through the air. A small drone from the attackers made it inside through a vent. It flew fast, heading straight toward Naraya. She turned, eyes glowing silver, and raised her hand. The drone stopped in midair, frozen. Sparks flew, then it dropped to the floor, silent. Rhea stared. "You didn't touch it. I didn't need to," Naraya said. "I felt its energy. I just quieted it." Outside, the leader of the Drac Syndicate received the report. "She's stronger than we thought," one of his men said. "She shut down the drone without contact," the leader growled. "Fine. Plan B." He pulled out a small device and pressed a button. A second ship appeared in the sky, this one much larger. It carried a weapon designed to disable power grids. If fired, it would knock out the outpost's defenses for several minutes, long enough to capture Niraya. Inside the base, alarms went off. "They're going to fire an MP pulse," Milo shouted. "We'll lose the shield." Juno rushed to Niraya. "We have to get you into the lower vaults. It's shielded underground." But Niraya shook her head. "No, I can stop them. But I need to go outside." "Absolutely not," Juno said. "They'll shoot you." "They won't have time," Niraya said. "Trust me." The team hesitated, but Juno finally gave a nod. Rhea opened the airlock door. Niraya stepped outside. Alone. The sky above was heavy with clouds, the Syndicate's large ship hovering like a dark moon. Its energy weapon charged up. Glowing orange, Niraya raised her hands. The ground around her light flowed from her body, first soft, then brighter, then blinding. It reached up like ribbons of silver energy, wrapping around the clouds. Rising into the air. From the command ship above, the Syndicate leader shouted, "What is she doing?" But it was too late. The energy from Niraya reached the weapon before it could fire. It didn't explode. Instead, it melted into harmless particles, drifting like dust in the wind. The power of her light reached the attacker's engines next. Not destroying, just stopping. The ships powered down, silent, still. Then Niraya lowered her hands. The light faded. She had not fought with fire. She had used peace to stop war. The Syndicate surrendered. Juno's team quickly took control. The attackers were locked in the brig, and their ships disabled. Later that night, the stars above were calm again. Juno stood beside Niraya at the landing platform. "You could have destroyed them," she said. "But you didn't." Niraya looked up at the stars. "If I become what they fear, then they were right about me. But I want to be more." "You are," Juno said. "You're proof that strength can come with mercy." News of the event spread fast. Across the galaxy, the story of Niraya stopping a powerful enemy without violence made her more than a name. She became a symbol. Of courage. Of choice. Of hope. But still, one part of her story was missing. The truth about where she came from and what was still hidden in the stars. That truth was coming, and it would change everything. The galaxy now knew the name Niraya. Her peaceful stand against the Drac Syndicate was being told across hundreds of worlds. Videos of her stopping their ships with only light were shared in schools, meetings, and even across news networks. People didn't see her as a threat anymore. They saw her as hope, but Niraya herself was quiet. Inside her room on Tarsi 7, she sat at her desk, staring at a small silver cuba data crystal. It had been found deep in the Sirati archives, sent secretly by Ellerin after his visit. He believed it held something important. Juno, Milo, and Rhea stood behind her. "You sure you want to see this?" Juno asked. Niraya nodded. "Yes, I need to know where I really come from." She placed the cube into the viewer. A soft light filled the room. Then an old hologram came alive. It showed a round table. Around it sat scientists, humans, Sirati, and 2 other alien species. They looked tired, but their eyes were full of hope. One of them, a human woman with short hair, leaned forward. "My name is Dr. Lara Vin," she said. "And if you're watching this, it means our project has survived." Niraya stared at the woman. Her voice was kind. "Familiar, we created you," Ilara said. "Not to rule, not to fight, but to bring unity. You are made from the best parts of us. The wisdom of the Sirati, the heart of the humans, the memory of the Cylon, and the healing touch of the Devari." On the screen, the Sirati scientist added, "We believe that if all species shared one child, perhaps they could share one future." Another spoke next, a Devari with glowing skin. "You are our bridge, not our weapon." But others did not agree, Ilara said. "They feared you. They shut down the project. We had no choice but to hide you." Her voice cracked with emotion. If we couldn't raise you, we hoped someone kind would find you. Someone who would see the light in you? If you're hearing this, Niraya, then remember, you are not alone, you are loved. You are the beginning of something better. The recording ended. Silence filled the room. Niraya wiped her eyes. That woman, she looked like me. Juno placed a hand on her shoulder. She may have been your genetic mother. I thought I was created by machines, Niraya said, but I was created by hearts. Later that day, Juno called a meeting in the central hall. The team, along with visiting scientists and diplomats from nearby systems, gathered to hear the truth. Niraya stood on the stage. She told them what the message had said. She told them what she had learned, and she told them what she now believed. I'm not just a mix of DNA, she said. I am a message, a chance, a voice for peace. People listened, some with tears in their eyes. A silent elder stepped forward and gave her a small glowing stone. This is a seed from our world, he said. It grows only in calm hands. Let it grow with you. One by one, people from different planets gave Niraya small gifts, not of power, but of trust. In the weeks that followed, the Galactic Council held one final vote. The question, should Niraya be protected and recognized as a galactic ambassador of peace? The result, unanimous yes. Niraya was no longer just free, she was chosen. A month later, a new ship was built. It was designed for long travel and peaceful missions. Niraya named it the Unity Star. Juno stood with her on the launch deck. Where will you go first? Juno asked. Everywhere, Niraya smiled. To places still afraid. To worlds still angry, to show them what's possible. And if danger finds you again? Niraya looked up at the stars. Then I'll face it. With light, not fire, like you taught me. Juno hugged her gently. I didn't teach you that. You taught all of us. When the Unity Star lifted into the sky, people from dozens of systems watched. They saw not a weapon rising into space, but a new kind of leader. Not one born of power, but of purpose. Epilogue. Colon. Far away, in the dark edge of the galaxy, hidden eyes watched Niraya's journey. A shadowed figure sat in a control chair, surrounded by old data and broken memories. She's awake, the figure said. The child has become more than they planned? A second voice answered from the shadows. Then it's time we prepare. The real storm is coming. But even in the darkest corners of space, one truth had already taken root. Where fear once ruled, hope had begun to grow, and her name was Niraya.